All right, so this past week, I've been working on getting my YouTube channel started. I know there's a few people who I know personally who subscribe to my channel, who's been watching my videos. I've been working on my channel for the past week, just getting it started. So with that, obviously it's required me to dig even deeper into my knowledge of everything, everything with animal cruelty, animal agriculture, health, just the corruption in society, the corruption in the system, and how the system is such an injustice to animals and humans as well, and the environment also. And of course, these are things that I've known for, as long as I've been vegan, about 6 years now. Well, over 6 years. This is things that I've known. But once you get into actually speaking about it out loud and recording yourself and actually doing research on the daily, I've been doing research on the daily, coming up with more information to put into my videos, and it's really just given me even more insight, and it's been pretty emotional. And so right now I have a lot on my mind that I kind of want to just say. It's just going to be kind of like a random stream of consciousness. So yeah, this is basically going to be a rant about injustice and how the system is corrupt, and the corruption in the system is not only affecting animals, but it's affecting humans as well. It's affecting society, it's affecting everyone's health. And so it's just one of those things where it really goes to show that our well-being is connected to the well-being of the animals. And as long as we're inflicting pain and suffering and torture onto the most innocent beings on the planet, that is going to come back to us. And it does. And it has a karmic effect. And whether you're spiritual or not, just the fact of the matter is that we do reap what we sow. Because animal agriculture, the billions and billions of animals that are being imprisoned, enslaved, exploited, tortured, murdered, and then when people are eating the dead bodies of these animals, it obviously has extreme ramifications upon our health. The number one killer in the United States is heart disease. And the only way to get heart disease is to have high cholesterol and to have your arteries clogged. And so heart disease is our number one killer. The only way to prevent that is to discontinue the consumption of animal products. And that is just plain and simple. When you're talking about heart disease and you're talking about cholesterol and you're talking about clogged arteries, the cause of that is consuming the flesh of animals, and the things like dairy and eggs that come out of animals. All of these things are wreaking havoc on our health. So not only are we inflicting all this pain, cruelty, and suffering onto the most innocent beings in the planet, we are reaping what we sow, and we are suffering health consequences because of it, and people are dying. So it just goes to show that animal liberation is human liberation. Justice for the animals equals justice for humans. Okay, as long as we're inflicting this pain and suffering upon these innocent animals, we're going to continue to reap the havoc on our health as a result. Heart disease and cancer and diabetes, those are the number one killers. Those are the number one diseases that human beings face. And all of these diseases, these prevalent diseases in society can all be traced back to eating the flesh of dead animals and the things that come out of their bodies. Okay, it's impossible to have high cholesterol on a vegan diet. It's impossible. And the thing about cholesterol that not even your doctor will tell you is that the human body produces all of the cholesterol that it requires. Yes, the human body produces all of the cholesterol that it requires. Any outside sources of cholesterol are detrimental to the human body, detrimental to your health. Any outside sources of cholesterol from animal products are going to collect in your blood. It's going to build up in your body, and it's going to cause disease in your body. It's going to cause heart disease. It's going to cause clogged arteries, which can lead to heart attack. That is the cause. Cholesterol is the cause. That is like one of the number one things to me that is just evidence that humans are not meant to eat animals. Because if you look at actual carnivores and omnivores in nature, they don't have heart disease, they don't have cancer, they don't have diabetes, they don't have all of these health problems that humans are facing, because they're actually designed to consume animals. They actually have the anatomy and the digestive system to process the flesh of an animal. Human beings do not. It is in our anatomy, it is in our physiology, it is in our biology that we are plant eaters. We do not have the ability to break down the flesh of an animal. We do not have the requirement for the cholesterol. We do not have the requirement for the saturated fat. We do not have the ability to break down the saturated fat. If human beings were designed to eat animals, then doing so would not cause all of the major diseases that we are facing on this planet as a species. And I think it is profound that discontinuing to torture and murder and consume animals, discontinuing this cruel, cruel practice will actually discontinue our suffering as a species as well. So the well-being of the animals and the well-being of humans is intertwined. All right. So like I said before, if we were truly designed to eat animals, it wouldn't be causing all of these major health problems and diseases and deaths amongst human beings. Omnivores, true carnivores in nature do not have these issues. And it has been proven that with the transition to a plant-based diet, we can prevent and even cure these diseases. And that is the only way that we can prevent and cure these diseases. The only way to prevent and to cure any disease is to eliminate the cause. In this case, the cause is consumption of animals. I felt compelled to make this random video is because I just lost a family member to a heart attack. This person was not overweight, maybe a few pounds, maybe a few extra pounds, but not significantly overweight. So that just shows that you don't have to be overweight to have high cholesterol and to be running the risk of a heart attack. It's solely dependent on what you're eating and what you're putting into your body. And if you're putting the flesh of a dead animal into your body, you are running that risk, because humans are not designed to eat animals. We cannot process the cholesterol. We cannot process the saturated fat. We cannot process the hormones, the antibiotics, and everything else that is added into the animal flesh in factory farms. And it shows. I want more than anything for animals to not have to suffer and die. But I also do care about human beings. And I also understand that if we just made that connection with the animals, if we just made that connection and understood that these beings are completely innocent, that these beings are intelligent, that these beings are sentient, that they have the ability to feel pain and joy and suffering and happiness, and they have the desire to live just like human beings, just like other animals and the animals that we consider companion animals, okay? Cows, pigs, and chickens, and even fish. They feel pain, they feel joy, they feel suffering, just like cats and dogs, okay? An animal is an animal is an animal. And it absolutely makes no sense that in our society, in our species, we have decided that certain animals are just meant to be tortured and murdered and eaten, and certain animals are meant to be respected and loved. It makes absolutely no sense. Another thing is that human beings do not even have carnivorous instincts. I think it's safe to say that 99% of people would not kill an animal, and most people find it heartbreaking to see an animal get hurt. Most people cannot stand to see an animal suffer. Most people cannot stand to see an animal be murdered. But yet, most people are paying a corporation to murder animals for them. So if you are eating animals, you are paying the hitman, essentially. You're just paying the hitman to kill the animal for you. And I know that most people would not kill an animal themselves. And that is why we are not designed to eat meat. Not only are we physically not equipped to process the flesh of an animal, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we don't have carnivorous instincts. We don't have that desire to kill. We don't have that instinct to kill. And if we do, then we are considered psychopaths, right? We are not mentally well. We are not right in the mind if we have a desire to kill. So why is it that we are paying corporations to kill for us? It makes no sense. And another thing is that if you have a child, right? If you have a child who is having the tendency to be cruel to animals or having the tendency to want to harm animals, that child is going to be admitted into psychiatric evaluation. In our society, we have this understanding that if a child has the desire to harm an animal, that's a dangerous child. That is potentially a child that will grow up to be a psychopath or a serial killer. But then we have these grown men who put on this gear and put on these outfits and go out into the wilderness and shoot innocent animals, and they call it a sport. You know, they consider hunting a sport. Why is it that when an adult kills an animal, it's a sport, but when a child harms an animal, we're concerned that that child may be a psychopath? It makes no sense. Murder is murder is murder. Animal cruelty is animal cruelty. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter how you try to justify it. It doesn't matter if it's done in a factory farm. It doesn't matter if it's done out in the wilderness and it's called a sport or it's called hunting. It doesn't matter how you do it. It is murder. And most human beings do not have the capacity to murder. because that is what makes us human. Our compassion is what makes us human. Without compassion, we are not human. And what veganism is about is reconnecting with that innate compassion that you were born with as a human being. Reconnecting with that compassion for animals. Because, like I said, 99% of people wouldn't willingly kill an animal, and it would tear them apart to see an animal being harmed. So why are you paying someone else to do it? Make the connection and understand what's going on, what's truly going on here. And just because society has conditioned us to believe that it's normal, it is not normal. It is not okay. Billions and billions of animals every single year are being born into this world, bred by human beings, systematically oppressed and brought into this world just to be murdered, just to have their body parts sold and consumed by human beings who were not designed to consume animals in the first place. And as a result, it's causing extreme health issues and death amongst our species. And the only way to remedy this is to go vegan. The pain and the suffering that we are inflicting on animals is not without consequence. It has extreme consequences on our health, both physical and mental and spiritual health. Because not only is it causing physical health issues, but it's disconnecting us from that innate compassion that we are born with. We do not need to be eating animals. We are not designed to be eating animals. Animal agriculture is not only killing billions of animals per year, it's not only destroying our health and causing major diseases amongst our species, but it's also killing the environment. The rainforests are being torn down more and more every single year to make room for cattle farming. CO2 emissions are at an all-time high, which is causing global warming and extreme pollution in the environment. Don't think that this is a joke. Don't think that your actions are without consequences. Don't think that humans are this superior species who have the right to inflict pain and suffering on other innocent beings, because we do not have that right. These animals are on this planet for their own purpose. They're on this planet to live their own life. And if we inflict pain and suffering and torture onto them, it does come back to us, and it will. We have the power to prevent all the major illnesses that are wreaking havoc on the human species. We have the power to end the pain, suffering, and torture and the systematic oppression on the most innocent beings on the planet. And we have the power to save the environment for future generations and preserve the natural beauty of planet Earth. And remember that supply and demand is a thing. And so don't just think, oh, well, if I'm not eating meat, other people will, and I'm just one person, I can't make a difference. But that is just not true, because every time you purchase something, you are voting with your dollar. So every time you make a purchase, you have to think, what kind of world do I want to live in? Do you want to live in a world full of pain, suffering, torture, disease, death, famine? Because that's what you're paying for when you purchase animal products, when you consume them. As long as we are paying for them to slaughter animals, they're going to continue to do so. The only way that we can stop it is by discontinuing to support this industry. So reconnect with your compassion, your innate human compassion that you were born with. Claim back your health, claim back your life, claim back your vitality. Just educate yourself, free your mind as well. You know, this is just a process of complete transformation and freeing yourself from an oppressive, horrible system. And going vegan is a process of complete transformation. It's a process of shedding old beliefs and indoctrinations that were put upon you since you were born, right? Because since you were born, you were told that you have to eat animals, that it's healthy, that it's normal, that it's right. So it's shedding all this false information that you've been fed since you were born, basically, and stepping into a new paradigm of life, of health, of happiness, of love, of joy, of compassion, stepping into the light, just stepping out of the dark and into the light. Please educate yourself, be open-minded, be compassionate, care about your health, care about the planet. Go vegan. That's all we have to do.